if it's possible, we do our best to save the best for last. I don't even know if that is possible. But Staff Sergeant David Bellavia is actually the founder of Vets for Freedom. He was one of the two soldiers and 3 Marines that got together and said, you know what, we need to change the conversation about Iraq. But he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to come home and serve, because he's done just a little bit himself over in Iraq. Staff Sergeant Bellavia has received the Bronze Star and Silver Star for actions in Fallujah, and is nominated for the Medal of Honor for his actions in Fallujah, and I believe, and many believe, may become one of the first living recipients of the Medal of Honor. He led an Army squad in the Battle of Fallujah, saving another squad in his platoon that was pinned down. David went into a house where there were 6 insurgents, and he came out and they did. And it was just one example of the tremendous courage that he's had, not only on the battlefield, but to come back here and share his story. And if you read one book about this conflict, read the book House to House by Staff Sergeant David Bellavia. The book's House to House. And I'm telling you, if you want to understand the nature of the enemy that we're facing, the nature of the fight that we're in, read that book. He talks about, I might be stealing one of his lines here, but he talks about the global all-star team that he fought in Fallujah. It was not just a bunch of Iraqis defending their homeland. These were Syrian snipers and Chechen mortarmen, Saudi suicide bombers. This was the jihadists galore descending on Iraq to ensure that they would defeat the Americans like they did the Soviets in Afghanistan. That's the enemy we're fighting, and that's what's at stake. And David's done, better than anybody else, an incredible job of articulating that. Staff Sergeant David Bellavia.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll only take a few hours of your time, I promise. And you can go back out into the heat. Great day for fleece, by the way. Thank you, Tucson. Appreciate that. I want to tell you, first of all, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I look at all the veterans here, and I realize that, you know, sir, I mean, the organization you have here, bringing everyone together, what this represents, I mean, this is exactly why I joined my own. I wanted to be like you. I wanted to be a part of something so fantastic as the United States military, and I would hope that when you would see soldiers today, that you see these fine examples. These are ambassadors of our generation. And what these men have decided to do is volunteer as professionals to defend what you have given us for free. So thank you all very, very much. I appreciate it. Also, just a little piece of admin. There's a military blog. It's one of the largest blogs out there. And it's called black5.net. These are great, great people. If you ever have a chance, you want to get to what's really happening out in the world, go to Black 5. One of their little pseudo-celebrities is a man by the name of Uncle, he goes by Uncle Jimbo, but his real name is Jim Hansen, and he's been following us since the very beginning. He gets no attention whatsoever. He's a black op, whatever that is. And but no, he's an outstanding American, and he's here every single day. He videotapes all this stuff. He puts it on the internet. He's there when we need a shoulder to cry on. Jim Hansen, could you just stand up and just, I want to thank you. He also has halitosis, but I won't bring that up here. No, he's a good man. Listen, I want to briefly just talk to you all about, you know, why we started this organization. I came home in 2005. In 2005, I came home from the war, and I sat and I turned on my TV and I watched, you know, Vietnam warriors, you know, Valor Award recipients, honorable men who disagreed with our presence and our occupation in Iraq. We're not here to tell people that you can't have political discourse. I bled for political discourse. You bled, your friends died, so that we can have the opportunity to disagree. But you're not going to use a Valor Award from another war to dictate my war to me. It's just not the way it's going to happen. I mean, in Vietnam, you hear people all the time from other generations talk to you about Vietnam. The Vietnam warrior came back and told you what was happening on the ground. We didn't lose a battle out there. We left thousands of brothers in arms on the field and walked away from it. And what's the lesson? I come home from the airport when I came home from Iraq, and of all the crowds of people all over the Atlanta airport, you probably went through the same thing when you guys deployed. You come home and there's just people all over the place, and they're all going crazy like a rock. You don't know any of them. They don't even know you. You might think, what's this all about? I walk through my little line, and these big burly arms just grab me and squeeze me. At first, I thought this may be a robbery. I'm going to be honest with you. I reached for my wallet, and it was okay, but I felt tears on my neck. And I realized at that moment that this was a veteran that was crying and saying to me, welcome home. And what hit me like a brick was the fact that this was not the reception you got, was it? Far from it. And yet, what do you do with your time? You go to the airport and you welcome me home. I mean, the amount of guilt. The amount of guilt. I mean, what am I? I got free tickets to SeaWorld. Everyone loves us. And here's the Vietnam generation, the Cold War generation that gets no respect, the Korean War veteran who no one even knows fought. We ask what someone who went to show MASH was from, they tell you Vietnam. They don't even know. And yet all of this sacrifice, all that we see continually on and over again, what do we have to show for it? Well, we are the legacy of what you sacrificed. And you know what? We came home. We got our little awards. We kept them in the same shoebox you kept them in. We don't care. It's not about awards. I lost 36 men. I knew their parents. I talked to their kids. I promised their wives they would come home. 320 wounded. We talk about educating. That's what Vets for Freedom is all about, educating. But you know who needs education? People in Washington need educating. People come up to me all the time and they lecture to me and they say, you know what? They lecture me constantly. We go to the house and we talk. Hey, Sergeant, I just came back from Camp Liberty. Okay, and I was at a Brown and Root Chow Hall, and I can tell you that the blue cheese, if it's left out, what are you talking about? Been out there for over a year, beating the streets, getting shot at, watching kids get blown apart. Don't lecture me about what's happening in Iraq. You think I'm check my W-2. No one's paying me from a political party. No one's carrying me off there and saying, here's your talking points. It blows people away that we can actually talk from the heart and be honest and passionate about something. We care. We care because no one cared about you. And that is not going to happen again. And I'm not coming here today and asking you to, everyone pop out your checkbooks and fill the boot with dollars. That's what we're here for. I'm asking you right now to join us. Join us because of what didn't happen to you. Be a part of what we're trying to do for our brothers and sisters so we can promise your grandchildren and my children that this will never, ever happen again. Never. Our men and women who struggle, and you know what? I appreciate VA benefits. We need VA benefits. If we don't treat you the way that you should be treated, well, why is anyone going to join the Army? Or the Marine Corps? Or the Navy? Or the Air Force? The men and women who serve need to be put up on a pedestal. This is important, but don't cloud the issue. Because what's killing my friends right now isn't cost of living allowance. We've got kids coming home without arms and legs, and we're supposed to pat them on the back and say, you know what, buddy? You've got a $2 million prosthetic. I don't care about the $2 million prosthetic. It's nice. It's appreciated. But how about you? How about you go back to that place where that leg was lost? How about you go back to that place where those kids lost their lives? And how about you say that ground is hallowed ground? That ground has been sanctified by the blood of American warriors. And we are not leaving that behind without a full victory. You want to tell me what victory looks like? I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. But don't give me these benchmarks and these litmus tests of, well, what if one bomb goes off? You know what? I appreciate your pessimism. If it's difficult for you to sleep at night, knowing that men stand ready to defend our liberty and freedom, if it's tough for you, then make yourself a stiff drink and go to bed at 7 p.m. Turn off the TV. All right? But rest well, because you know what? You were there before we were. And you saw what was going on, and your film wasn't 24-hour turnaround. It was on, they had to process it. They had to wait 2 weeks. And the negative news kept coming and coming and coming, and they buried you with it. They buried you with it, and they made you eat shame for no reason whatsoever. Your honorable sacrifice was shamed for partisan politics. I don't care if you're on the left or if you're on the right, you're going to get out of our way because we're going to plow you over. That's what we're all about. And I ask you today, please join us. Join us so we can make sure what happened to you never happens to us. Thank you very much. God bless you.